SSP International is a nonprofit that's on a mission to provide students with transformational opportunities, sorry about that, to learn, do, and belong in the world of science. Joining me now to give us more of an insight is an alumni of the program, Anushay Anjum, along with the Vice President of Academic Affairs of SSP International, Mike Manzella. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
And I know we have you in person, Anushay, and Mike joining us virtually. So Mike, to get us started, talk to me a little bit more about the program of SSP International.
So SSP International is the nonprofit that runs the Summer Science Program. We are looking for new programs to expand outwards. But the Summer Science Program is a very unique summer program. We've been operating since 1959, and we effectively helicopter drop participants and faculty onto a college campus. And they take quite advanced classes over 5 weeks. They do research that these high schoolers, these rising seniors, really wouldn't see until the upper years of their undergrad or even grad school. And it is a very intense summer, but they are going through this process to learn about themselves, to learn about the science, to learn that they can do real research. And we don't tell them this during the program. They all come in and think that they are only learning about science. But in my opinion, if they come out learning more about themselves and how to interact with other human beings, how to work in a group, how to learn about people from different cultures, because we have people from across the US and across the world that get put together into these programs, we count that as a win. We want them to feel like they belong, as you said, that they have a right to be in STEM and higher education, and that they just want to be there.
Yeah, sounds like an incredible program, of course. And I know we have Anushay, you are an alumni of the program as well.
Yes,
So
I am.
obviously learning a little bit more. Talk to me about your personal journey and how it impacted your career.
So I'm from Pakistan, and I'm a junior in college now. I study at NYU, but I did SSP in 2021, and I was at the Purdue Biochemistry program. For me personally, I come from a not a super I don't come from a family that has a really large income. And so a big part of education in Pakistan is that if you are, if you have a good income, you're able to access good education. But if you don't, it's really, really difficult. And so SSP kind of bridged the gap for me. I attended SSP free of cost. I didn't have a laptop. So my laptop, even now, the one that I use in college is the one that SSP gave me 3 years ago. And so for me, the Summer Science Program kind of changed the trajectory of my life. Research is not a big thing, especially not for women, and especially not at that age. You have to be in like the graduate or PhD level to really pursue some sort of academia. And so the idea that I could do that at 16 or 17 in high school was really, really absurdly crazy to me. And so, I think that I agree with what Mike just said. I think it creates pathways for kids to not only explore their academic interests, but also get to know people. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned how to be self-confident. I got a lot of self-esteem out of SSP because I was finally around people who were like me, who were, for lack of a better word, who were just nerds, who liked talking about science and STEM.
I mean, and with what Mike was sharing as well before, I think it's beautiful that a program comes in and, you think you're just going into science, but you're obviously introduced to so many other things. Mike, for you, obviously the program being established since 1959, how has it evolved and its impact as well on the people who are a part of it?
Yeah, so the program started in 1959. This was a space race program. This was getting, at the time, more young boys into astrophysics to fight against the Russians at the time. So we started at a small all-boys school. We have now moved ages ago to being split by gender, just to, again, have that melting pot aspect. We became a nonprofit. We recently got a fairly massive bequest, a donation upon death, from an alumni from the 70s who really transformed what we can do. And we went from running one program of 36 kids to this year we'll probably have somewhere between 16 and 20 programs that we're running. And it used to be just preparing them for science. And I think if the participants didn't become scientists or something at the end, that was a failure. And now we just want people to know that they can do this, whether they choose to or not. We want them to know that they can.
Yeah, with that part as well about inspiring people that they can and can be a part of this. You know, we have statistics that Black and Latinx individuals, especially in New York, have fewer opportunities for an impact in their education and career path as well. What are some of the ways that you're doing, you know, kind of breaking those stigmas that we have here?
Yeah, so those are a thing. There are efforts to fix that at the local level, which I think will have broad-reaching impacts. Those are fighting against decades of established kind of precedents on who belongs in STEM and who has the advantage of taking these courses. Advocate, do the job of putting in the work, and I know that there are people doing that and taking micro steps, grassroots efforts to make more advanced courses available. But programs like SSP, they are out there. The Summer Science Program is long running, it's highly rated. It gives people a starting point. It gives them experience with things that they might not have seen. And these are the kids that we want. We want kids that haven't had the opportunity to take advanced classes. Our admissions process is need blind. It's a college-based kind of system for admitting our participants. And we're looking for kids who come in and have good grades. They've done most of what they can at their local school, but then they hit a wall and there's nowhere left for them to go locally, at least easily. And we want them to have that opportunity because we have faith in these kids that they can push past what is available to them. So that's what we're doing as a patch for a system that isn't really set up for this.
Yeah, now Anushay, you talk a little bit about your experience. Obviously being from Pakistan, this program introduced you to Python, programming. How did that inspire you now in your career at NYU?
Yeah, I mean, I had nothing to do with programming, especially, I mean, now in Pakistan, I think there are a lot of different avenues for women to go into tech. But back then, it was a very boy field, and so we had to pick a field at the start of high school, and girls would always go for the pre-med side, and boys would always go for the engineering side, and that was just how it was. So when I went to SSP, I was in the biochemistry program, like I said, and so had nothing to do with programming until fast forward last couple of weeks of my time there, we started doing data analysis through Python, and that was the first time I ever programmed, ever. And I realized that I really liked it. And so when I got a full ride from NYU, and I think SSP has a big deal to do with that. I got great recommendations, and I think it really stands out when you talk about it within your college application. And so when I got that scholarship from NYU, I had this ability to take whatever class I wanted to. So I wanted to take a intro to computer science class, and I realized that I really, really, really enjoyed that. Fast forward 3 years later, I'm working at Microsoft next summer. So I think that SSP allows you to explore things that you don't even realize you could have a career in. I think that a lot of my peers and contemporaries who were at SSP ended up doing some form of data analysis or bioinformatics because of their experience at SSP, and they hadn't necessarily looked at it before. So yeah, I think that SSP allows you to understand exactly what you like, because at 16 you're not expected to know everything, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I love even that you talk about that aspect of starting a network. You know, not everyone who has been a part of the program supports each other. You're seeing what everyone is doing as well. For you, Dr. Mike, joining us virtually, I want to know, what can people do at a community level if they want to start being a part of these initiatives and start getting access to these items that we're talking about?
Google search. There are SSP. Again, I will speak wonders of SSP. There are other summer programs out there as well. SSP has grown. We are still fairly small, and we're working to build that. speaking of community, which you just mentioned, we have a program called SSP Connect that after our participants get out of the program, especially if they're on financial aid, they get paired in group settings and individual settings with a SSP mentor that helps them through that process. And at the community level, use each other as resources. There is a lot of kind of cultural wealth that is in all of your communities. You know more than you think you do about how these systems work. Connect to people, have conversations. And if SSP can help give a little bit of that cultural capital, we're happy to do it.
Yeah. Now, of course, if people are watching and they are excited about an opportunity like this, what would you say about the financial part? Is there a financial aid or other resources they can take advantage of?
Yeah, so SSP is need blind. I had absolutely no idea what that meant before I started working here. It means that our participants, our students apply to the program. They go through a college level admissions kind of thing with essays and all of that. We pick the kids that we think will benefit the most from the program. And then we go, all right, this is the program fee. What do you need to support that? SSP overall gives a bit of money to cover everybody's costs because our programs cost more than the program fee. But last year, I think we were at about 50% of students getting either full or partial aid. And at ssp.org, our website, there are outlines in the facts of kind of parental household income that can give rise to either full or partial aid. We also give out stipends for our financial aid kids when they get on campus, so they have some spending money. We also piloted last year and are expanding this year the idea of a lost wages stipend for kids that move away from home and lose the ability to earn income over the summer.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that information, Dr. Mike. And thank you so much, Anushay, for joining us in person and sharing more about your experience. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, to learn more about these programs, please visit their website at summerscienceprogram.org. Stay tuned. We have more open for you right after this.